Kavan, welcome. I am your GM in the Great Barrier. We are here tonight with Star Trek Adventures Broken Sword. We return for the third part of our most spooky and grim adventure. Simply put, woebegone. Before we get started, and before we jump into a recap of the last session's events, we have, of course, acknowledgements for the rest of our crew. And one such figure in this case, the first will go to our dear departed engineer, played by one Caligo. Tell us, what do you have going on right now over on your channel?
Uh, Nothing new. I think I've been sick for like the past week, so I've just sort of been chilling out.
Oh dear.
Hanging
Uh,
out.
I have at least caught some of the StarCraft sessions, so that was kind of fun to watch. I
No
understand we
bra.
haven't gotten to pylon construction yet, though.
And that's an expansion I don't even own yet.
You got to build more of those. They're kind of necessary.
Yeah.
Yeah. Going beyond that, we have also our helm officer, our a Klingon of many a dulcet tone and all around talented writer, author, um, and general sort of just all around good guy, one Joe, the OverlandGamer. Tell us what's going on over at both the OverlandGamer channel and how the quest for quality is going.
Well, I had to let the quest for quality die. I needed the channel for something else, but so I ended up deleting that. But over on my Facebook or my Twitch channel, we've been playing some Fallout 4 and getting ready for the Fallout for Hope charity, which starts November 14th through December 30th. We're raising money for St. Jude's Children Research Hospital. So we're getting some fun stuff set up for that. I've started writing for NaNoWriMo. I've been writing a uh, Fallout 2D20 inspired story that has parallel adventures with the setting. So it'll be interesting to see where that goes. And I've been reading some of it on stream. So yeah, exciting times ahead.
Oh, that's really cool. Well, for any of that stuff, for any of you that are interested, as per usual, I would steer you to the links we have in our description. That'll show you where you can watch them live. It'll also show you where you can find us live if you ever want to uh, contribute to the adventures that we run, which when we are live, you can spend channel points here on our Twitch streams and use that to affect the narrative, buying momentum or threat, creating advantages or complications, or otherwise doing small things to reshape the story narrative. So we're always here to invite that, and we hope you enjoy wherever you're watching. Give us a follow or subscribe if you're on YouTube. Likes are nice too. And yeah, if you're liking what you're seeing, then let us know. That being said, let us pick up where we left off, which has been a terribly troubling set of events. The Yan has just recently rescued its long lost crew member, Woe. Kazinti, who had long served as its security officer, but who had been missing for some time after an encounter on the pirate port of Zethlor some months back. Woe, after finally being rescued by the crew, you had started to heal from your long ordeal of torture and depravity. Uh, this recovery has not been the smoothest, but you've still been moving apace. Uh, After feeling a great welcome by the crew, you had started settling back into your new routine. However, as you've gotten settled more and you've become convinced that nightmares begin to stalk you, for you had a very difficult one just the previous night when you envisioned yourself sparring with Raldar in a nearly empty cargo bay, and when anger seemed to take hold of you for a moment, you let it slide, but in the process, some horrible phantasm seemed to take hold, an angry voice from deep within, and it slew Raldar and forced you to clean up its mess. The trouble is that in the waking world you find yourself with Raldar mysteriously vanished, and there being sparse clue of what had happened. You've recounted the crew of this dream, but they were uncertain as to what to make of it. Internal sensors have failed completely aboard Theon, so no one has any idea while it is stuck in some sort of glitched out diagnostic state, apparently induced by Raldar, from what anyone is to understand. And yes, obligatory lies and slander bit. There's Caligo.
Lies and slander.
Yep. You have taken members of the crew and you have started taking an effort to find out whether this responsible force, this thing that you suspect but hope against hope is not present, you're trying to locate them and discern whether they are there. You've met with no success, but nonetheless, you and crew members are taking precautions, keeping an eye on largely out for whatever this thing could be, though some of the crew may be keeping an eye on you a little more closely. After having eliminated just about anything and seeing to the mutant clone of your now the suspected deceased engineer, you have gone and met with the captain, who was under the ship's bridge working by the computer core, and posed, you'd updated him and you'd sought some comfort, some reassurance, which he was happy to provide, and you felt once again something that bubbling up and wanting to take hold, but it was nothing that you could not regain sense of yourself. Unfortunately, something else did reappear. This foe, this doppelganger, this nightmare that looks so much like you. It has taken the captain, and despite his most valiant struggle, it was able to deal a lethal blow and send him, with your own help, through the deck plates, having torn through some of them into the ship's torpedo launcher, and to send him out, basically force a launch, firing the captain off into space. His neck, or basically his spinal column around the neck, completely crushed and now sent out in hard vacuum. This was the moment, Azek, that you and Vopri had noted when we left off. You, Bahan, and Vopri were all present. Cheshire was actually the one who kind of came up and gave you an inkling something that might be wrong. The captain has been down in the subdeck for some time, immediately below you, trying to work out what's going on with the computer's sensors. You've dropped out of warp, so as to not create any risk of malfunction whilst he messes with the computer systems. You hadn't heard much of him, largely due to the fact that, as we established, you've had a long bit of Klingon rock opera playing, and it is only after silencing that you heard that, as some of you were looking around there, Vopri gave you the panicked alert that the captain appears to have been launched out into space. And with internal sensors down, you have no idea how that could have happened. given that last you knew he was supposed to be downstairs. So, Azek, what would your inclination be to go and check under the bridge?
Well, do we have any controls of the cargo bay doors or anything like that?
I think that there is probably some access to that, or that I would suspect you could issue some sort of command. I will say the subdeck is like the cargo bays are in the back of the subdeck, whereas the computer core, the segment, is immediately below you. So if you were thinking of trying to blow that open and vent things, then it would mean venting a larger bit of the ship than what would be required.
All right, that won't work.
I will also say, if anybody wants to bring in a supporting character, like, say, Dekoth, or if anyone wants to take Bahan, then you guys are welcome to do that.
Trying to think.
I think
Our
the pirate.
What's that?
I was saying the captain would be a good pirate. That's what Bahan is, right?
I mean, Bahan may have had a pirate's past. Honestly, at this point, he's much more concerned with, as far as everyone knows, he's much more concerned with the thing that has destroyed an indeterminate number of previous ships of his.
The whale.
I honestly forgot about him.
Yeah, everybody did. I did.
I mean, I'm sure there's a good reason for that. Anyway, yes, I'll bring Dekoth back onto the bridge. Just a second. Oh, strange to have the music off. Or did the captain come up and tell you to turn down that racket?
Yeah, well, obviously the music gets shut off.
Yeah, music's, has already been turned down.
Yeah, I'm just trying to figure out how to get him back in here. Because we don't have site-to-site transport stuff like they do in Discovery.
You could ask Croker, I suppose.
Is Croker on the bridge, or I thought he was down in engineering?
Croker's in the transporter room, or could easily get down there.
Oh, you said comms were down though.
No, I said internal sensors were down.
Oh, I thought you said sensors and comms. I'm sorry.
That's
Okay,
quite right.
Croker, I'm gonna go the comms. Croker, our captain, seems to be going for a little bit of a spacewalk. Can we bring him in?
Well, not while the shields are... Oh, sorry.
Oh, sorry. Go ahead.
I'll echo that. What? He didn't even tell me. Why would he do that when the shields are still up? I can't beam him until the shields are back up.
Well, I'm sorry, I don't know what to do. Vote.
Vilpry is actually going to chime in.
Yeah.
It would make no difference. My external sensors can still detect life signs, and I can tell you the captain is in fact dead.
Note in the ship's log the timestamp in which the captain was shot out of the airlock. Um,
It was actually the torpedo launcher directly below us.
yeah, yeah, torpedo launcher.
I will make a note in the log. I'm imagining at this point, Azek, have you once again hit the ship wide button since you called Croker, and everyone everyone just seems to push the reply all button around here?
Yeah, I think we've kind of established that
Yep.
everybody's aware of everything.
Yep. Okay. Just as a note here, and we'll get more into
Everybody's all aware of everything all at once. Sorry, couldn't help myself. I'll leave now.
I am going to expend 2 points of threat to create a negative scene trait, which will just say it will become apparent in due time. Well, I guess in the
We don't have a tractor beam or anything like that, do we?
I don't believe the Yon actually has a tractor beam. I think we've established it's sufficiently small as to not carry one. Unless I am terribly mistaken, Sean. 'Cause I feel like
I didn't put one on there.
well,
I didn't think that
Okay.
they were, as far as I knew, they weren't. They weren't very common equipment on Klingon ships at this particular time.
yeah.
Remember, they don't take prisoners.
Yeah. Now, the overriding principle could be, and I will double check the rules real quick. I will look at both renditions of a Klingon Raptor as Star Trek Adventures holds them. If they are statted to include a tractor beam, then I am prepared to reverse course as need be, and just claim, call that my bad, such that I went along with their
So-
actions.
Traven removed the tractor beam components to make room for the root beer.
Had to happen. Sorry.
Canon event. What? So, just out of curiosity, out of character, why aren't we beaming him back in?
The shields are currently up.
Yep. And our sensor are down, so I don't know if we'd be able to do that.
Well,
Internal sensors, not external sensors.
Okay.
yeah. So the answer to bring Tabak back inside the ship would be to lower shields and have Croker beam the body back, if for no other reason than to give him a proper, Klingon screaming wake, whatnot. The main question, Azek, the only reason to not do so, Azek, besides dispensing with the one obstacle for you to take command, would be that if Woe is correct and there were some sort of hostile force out there, then dropping shields for that moment would be a perfect opportunity for them. So it really depends on how paranoid you think Azek would be.
Well, I'm kind of as I'm contemplating all of this. Is there? Oh, Vopri saw the captain being jettisoned out too, right?
Yes.
Okay, so it's not a. I want to roll to disbelieve this, thinking that it might be something like holographic on the screen rather than actually happening.
So Azek is just struck in total disbelief and unable to immediately react here.
Yeah, I mean, like I said last week, as his first thought was like, yay, promotion, but he's kind of gathering his thoughts, and it's like, this can't really be happening, can it?
Okay. Would anybody like to take over one of the supporting characters then, or bring a player character in? I recall Kresic was monitoring vital signs from sickbay, and as you know, Rev, I sent you some information there. Um, but we could still bring in somebody else. Traven could always come to the bridge. Anybody that wants to take over Dakoth or Bahan could easily do so. That's
I'm nominating Raldar for Bahan. I mean, Caligo for Bahan. And Sean for Dakota.
Would you guys like to go for that?
Trying to remember Bahan's character.
Bahan is a drunken Nausicard. A drunkard Nausicard. A Nausicaan drunkard.
And Dakoth
He be sailing the seas.
is basically Tabok's Sean's current secondary, except with like 2.5 more brain cells.
Gotcha. Well, I have a bottle of rum
And
downstairs.
more
Let me go
alcohol
get
in
in
his
character.
bloodstream.
Yeah. Let me go get my. Let me go get in character and let me grab the rum downstairs.
Yeah. Well, let's see. Yes.
You said shipwide comms, right?
Yes.
You hear a response. This is Kresic to the bridge. You said that scanners confirmed death. Correct?
I am relaying sensor data. Yes, no life signs detected.
Out of character question. If we were to beam him in, would that be a scene break between that that moment and him beaming into sickbay or beaming into the transporter pad? And I only ask because I have a talent that allows me to bring back dead characters if it's within the same scene.
I feel like it. So, presuming that we didn't count the cliffhanger from last time as a break and like shifting to the bridge perspective, I would say that counts.
Okay, perfect. Can you determine any potential cause of death through external sensors?
I am sorry. I cannot discern. I mean, he has been out in vacuum for too long, and the force of the torpedo launcher probably would have been enough. For, who knows what else he could have succumbed to?
The torpedo launcher.
Yes, he was launched by torpedo. He was in the torpedo launcher. I am sorry. I cannot keep my calm. There must be something down in the ship. I don't know what we do. What do we do? Vopri is beginning to lose it and is at this point I think he is going to take increased complication, reflecting that he's taking the trait panicked now because he is no decisive action
It's actually,
as he is concerned.
it's actually kind of fun to watch the crew fall apart without me.
Is there? Do we have like? I know it's more common on Federation ships, but do we have like tricorders on the bridge that are not connected to the ship's computer?
Well, he's at the rate that he has been launched, he is moving very rapidly out of tricorder range or any
Well,
sort of
no,
skill range.
I'm seeing Vopri start to get panicked, and with Azik's own panic happening, I'm starting to wonder if there's something in the air causing excess panic and confusion.
Yeah, I would say that you can probably. It might not be standard equipment exactly, though I think we run that Klingons carry some sort of standard scanner. So if you want to run a reason and science roll, then I will give you that at a difficulty of 1.
All right, give me a second here. You said reason and insight,
Yes.
or reason and medicine?
Reason. No, it'd be reason and science. I guess I could accept medicine since you're looking for compound. You're looking for a compound that would affect you. Since you don't have a medical scanner, though, I feel like that might actually be subject to an increase in difficulty.
Would inspiration or composure play a role in this as far as a focus? But
Not a. I don't think it quite works for the type of scan that you want to do. Those focuses are more for when you are rolling some sort of command roll in order to regain control of the situation.
okay.
Azek, you cannot determine whether the fear that creeps into your bones is based on any sort of compound in the air, or whether your courage as a Klingon is failing you, and the hounds of Grethor are baying for your blood. The thought crosses your mind of risk of dishonor as this fear seems to take hold.
Resisting the urge to spin Vopri around and do what they did on Airplane to that one chick in the chair. Get a hold of yourself. Um, I'll
Just the whole line of slapping people.
yes.
Oh no! At the end of it is Dar.
Clink, clink.
Vopri, you've got the bridge. I'm gonna go down to the torpedo room, see if there's something going on down there.
Vopra has just shrunk down into practical, into as fetal a position as he can. Azek, you crawl down into the through the hatch down into the computer core immediately below the bridge. Does anybody want to join him?
Bout chicka bow wow.
Vopri definitely does.
Vopri most certainly does not.
I feel that Dekoth would, because he was the captain's security.
And he has now learned that he has failed the task. The one
Yes.
moment the absolute single moment he was not paying attention.
Yes. So I feel like he would. I already have 2 characters. I don't necessarily want to play him, but just thinking along lines of
Well,
character motivations.
I can NPC him if nobody wants to jump in. Yes, we'll say regardless, Dekoth will go down and follow. So, Azek, you climb down through the hatch and make your way into the computer core area. It's a relatively small. It's a small compartment, and the computer core of the On is not particularly large. So it is quite easy to get the lay of the room from the panels, which all seem to be in place now. The set of isolinear, or I think we're actually in an era of more like duotronic circuitry, or possibly a precursor to that, depending on whether Klingon science has acquired the technology. But
I would think they would have their own analog to it.
Yeah. The Theon might have a precursor. At any rate, whatever manner of technology is used for the ship's computer core, you see the frantic work of a half-crazed woe trying to get things back together, as if fixing this computer core will rectify. Like she does so with the urgency of a situation of like trying to desperately fix something.
Whoa, are you okay?
Did we lose Ray?
Lost.
Sorry, what did you say? I didn't even hear you.
I said, yeah, are you okay?
I'm fine. I'm totally fine. There's nothing wrong. Everything's fine. Go back upstairs.
You want to explain to me why we fired torpedoes?
What are you talking about? I don't even know what you're talking. Who says that? Our shields up. Why would we fire torpedoes?
Well, our captain might have our popsicle captain might have something to say about it happening.
What are you even talking about? You don't make any sense. She is so sweaty.
She's a cat. She can't sweat.
Can cats not sweat? I'm fairly certain they can. She's fine. She's panting. She's panting in excess.
I'll tell Dukoff to go to the galley and get some water or whatever Woe's preferred beverage of hydration would be.
Clean water always works. Clean water.
Dukoff,
Fresh, clean water.
You know it.
Doctor's orders. Okay, Dukoff will hesitate for a moment, but obey your orders, Ezek, as he has pretty much accepted that you are probably in charge now.
What was Dukoff? He was a Nausicaan, right?
Dukoff is the Klingon. He's a Hemhul, or rather a
That's right. Okay.
a Koha.
He was
original
your
Klingons.
secondary until he got vaporized protecting the captain. Joe.
Yep, that I remember now. I have a feeling there's much death around that one right there. How can I help? Well,
We've got to get the system back online. As soon as we get the system back online, everything will go back to normal. Everything will be fine. Everything will be fine. She repeats it. Everything will be fine. And she's nodding now. Everything will be fine, right? Everything will be fine.
Azek looks over at the off switch and flips the switch to on.
Which on-off switch are you talking about?
I don't know. There's probably a switch next to Azek that's set to off, and I'm gonna flip it on. I don't know what it does, but we're gonna flip it on.
Good lord. I don't even know what to do with that. I'm sorry, Joe.
Roll for a complication on that.
Well, all I'm trying to do is she said it as long when we get it back on, things will be better, right? So he's just trying to get it on.
Why would you say
You
that?
on your choice of words.
God damn.
That was unintentional.
I was gonna say, Jill, you can't just turn it on. It doesn't work like that. You gotta put in some effort.
You really gotta use your fingers.
Descartes, bring some blood wine. No,
Oh,
no, just kidding. No, Azek wants to help, but he doesn't quite know. He doesn't know computer systems like other people do. He knows how to pilot things.
certainly not like Tabak or Raldar.
Is there any indicator as to which system Woe is standing in front of and working on?
She's standing in front of the main computer core. So that, like, this is basically the central computer that governs all the functions throughout the ship.
And there are a bunch of isolinear rods that are yanked and all over the deck. Still.
Is there a comm panel here?
Most definitely.
I'm gonna
Folks, we're coming back online now. I'm so sorry about that. Technical issues beyond even what I'm usually used to dealing with struck. So, as a result, I apologize. Thankfully OBS was still working that whole time, so the recording should be fine. I just have to edit out the extensive period.
There's evidence. Sorry.
Well, I mean, there's no evidence against any of you guys during that blackout moment, because I was Discord disconnected. But yes.
No, you have a recording.
I always have a recording. This all goes to YouTube. This is recorded. And if I need the extra bit of things, I have clips. I have a very specific clip about a time that you guys were talking about me forgetting about something, and you guys noting that I have recordings of this.
Your internet had another little burp, but I'm sure everything will be fine.
I hope
darn
so.
it! And I thought our Star Trek talk was going to be on the stream to try to help it out. Darn it!
Nope. This was all for.
It's good talk though.
This was unfortunately all for your benefit, and yes, I can see my Discord it's looking pretty bad. I'm trying to work with a mobile hotspot on this for stream and whatnot.
Is Woe actually in your computer right now, messing with the isolinear chips in your laptop and your internet server?
It's Betty.
First off, that's an insult. Secondly, it would be Betty.
I might have monkey's paw myself. So
And here I was getting drunk just for you.
I love you so much.
There's a risk you may just have to do it for yourself.
Damn it.
Well, we are going to press on as best as we can. Guys, let me know if I need to repeat things, if I should lose clear audio, and we'll make this work. But yes, again, so sorry everyone. Let's try to get back to this. So, I'm trying to remember where we were when the things broke off exactly.
Kelshaw was on her way.
Okay, so that was the bit I had not heard. Kelshaw was going to come down and try to help figure things out. Which, unless you guys have had other words you want to exchange, we could just bring her into the scene if you would like. Hearing none, I'm just going to bring her on board, and I am reassured by whatever bottle or drink. Okay, that sounds squishy. That's not good. I don't like that.
Sorry.
Tapioca pudding. What can I say?
God, we haven't.
Jake threat.
Big threat.
I'm just gonna say we aren't yet at that. Like, Azek doesn't become tapioca until the end of this session.
You know what? I'm taking threat. That was terrible.
Fair enough. The GM will give you 2 points of threat for your express use.
Thank you.
But you're not actually in the roll 20 right now, so I'm just going to have to pull that into my own pool for now. So,
Please make a note of it.
yeah. Anyway, yeah, Kelshaw steps into the computer core. Let's see. Rev, did you intend on playing her, or was
I can. I don't think there's a lot that needs to be done here.
Yeah, it's a very quick sign of you can very quickly discern that the computer core is a mess. Tabak was undoubtedly doing well. You had heard he was doing something in here to try and find the error, and he had not cleaned up his mess before he apparently died. If you have any guesses based on what the situation being broadcast across the ship is. So, you also see Woe in a relative panic, and Azek. I don't know. How is Azek looking with this whole situation, Joe?
Honestly, when he sees anybody else come down here, he kind of steps back, but he's mostly just looking at the computer core at what Woe's trying to do and trying to understand it as best as he could.
So Azek, who appears to be the ship's captain at this point, unless the doctor plans on having anything to say, he just seems very perplexed by the situation.
Didn't think you had it in you, Azek.
What music? That's always been in there.
Ah, often the captain.
Oh, well, he had it coming.
You're right on that one.
What?
Oh, can I roll to punch the whoever just said that in the face?
I will roll daring plus security. Rev, if you
All
can
right.
get into her.
When she
Go ahead.
When she goes to do that, as it was a tactical decision to try to get her away from the computer to let everybody else in there that needs to do it. Can I roll a counter to that using hand-to-hand combat?
I mean, you don't need to justify it that far. You're close, and this is a small room, and you're close enough that you can try to assist or block or something of the sort. I think an assist to you can try to slow her down or something.
Yeah. Well, what I'd like to do is, as she goes to punch, I'd like to almost it's almost what is it, Aikido, where you grab and you pull her away from the computer.
Okay.
Well,
Azek, with your one arm to do that, you may roll a single d20 to assist. The roll is daring plus security. Ray, sounded like you had something you wanted to include in that.
yeah, roll 20 is not loading for me. Like, I have refreshed and changed the tab. It's not doing anything.
That's very unusual.
I can't get in.
I have your sheet opened at present, so I will take care of things, and I will try to narrate as best as possible.
I have a question.
Yeah.
In this situation, would you say that Woe has a trait which reflects something that she is particularly sensitive or protective about right now?
Are you asking me or are you asking the GM?
Yes.
I think that I think Woe's a bit frazzled, to be certain, but I'm not convinced. Well, she's definitely, I think, on a short fuse, and particularly over how casually that the captain's being discussed. That might qualify.
I'm just curious because Kelshaw has a talent that's called Cruel, which says if the enemy has a trait which reflects a weakness, which would be either a weakness or a flaw of an enemy or a matter they are particularly sensitive or protective about, I can re-roll a d20 on my next attack or persuasion task I attempt against them.
Honestly, I am inclined to give it unless you have some dispute or like it. Would you say that it's? Would you say that Woe is uniquely protective of the captain, or it's more that she is seeing these terrible, well, even seeing terrible things like that and reacting in kind? I think might count.
While she's not she is protective of the captain, but the person that she's obviously most protective of is Kresik. That is her homeboy.
Yeah.
Or her own home old man, whatever. Either way, she does have. I don't think she has the talent, but she does have a value that you might fight against. What was the question? Was it talent or focus?
Trait.
Yeah.
Trait. Oh.
Which traits kind of traits can come and go in the scene.
It's.
Yeah.
I haven't assigned anything officially, but like the way that you're playing Woe is somewhat frazzled by the situation. I'd say that.
Oh yeah, no, she's.
Yeah, it might.
She is very much appalled by the casualness with which everyone is acting like this is not a big deal, and the fact that she has not been detained by anyone or even had someone try to detain her is making her more upset because none of this is normal.
So I think I'm going to rule that her mental state is an exploitable weakness, such as it is. Woe still hits like a truck and is going up against somebody who is not necessarily meant to do that. So,
Absolutely not. My daring and security is garbage.
Yeah. If you would like Woe, I can make an attack roll with additional dice. I think that using momentum here probably wouldn't be appropriate if we even we do seem to have some. The players still have
a little
some.
bit. We have a little bit.
I don't want to use momentum for this. This is just a quick reflex.
Gotcha. We'll just make it a simple. Here, I'll just do the flat roll. Kelshaw, you may take a lead roll to try to withstand Woe, and Azek, you may assist. This is again daring plus security. Okay.
Okay, I am re-rolling that complication there.
Yep. So presently 1 success. Two successes from Woe. 1 success from Azek in assisting, and Kelshaw had initially rolled 0 successes with a complication, but using Cruel, since you are able to exploit her mental state here, you can re-roll that complication.
I have to roll above a 10.
Okay.
And it was above a 10.
Well, that is enough to at least match, but initiative does count for something on ties, so I think that, while it's...
So I'm not taking the lead, then? On the roll. Because you did say I had the lead, but she did initiate, so it makes more sense for her to have the lead.
That's what I meant. The lead... I was referring to the lead insofar as Azek was assisting you as well.
Gotcha. Okay.
Yeah. So, Kelshaw, you almost see it coming. That you pick up very quickly that Woe is a ticking time bomb, and that she is exploding in your particular direction. And you take what steps you have. You growing up in any part of Klingon society, I think that people are at least well acquitted for a certain degree of a scrape, even if they're not trained warriors per se. There's some value in the abstract sort of struggle, but there's also value in just dealing with whatever physical issue you're going to encounter. Even with that, however, and with Azek's attempt to intervene, attempting to grab the punch, Woe surges forward and just is not... she is an utter force. She, cleaves right through. And that hit... it's not going to hit as hard as it would. There are 2 effects and 3 zeros. So the effects, they count for 1. They are effectively doubled, or each of them gives an additional point of damage because of Vicious 1. So that would be a total of 4 points of stress, and you are knocked prone. So despite your best effort, Kelshaw, Woe surges forward and just and manages to get through it. Ray, if you want to add any flavor or narration, I can defer to you on this.
Can we say that Azek kind of catches her fall so she doesn't just slam right onto the baseboard? Are you good with that, Azek, for your success in this part?
Yeah.
Okay, so instead of realizing it's a futile effort to try and block Woe, you tend more towards your crewmen and your fellow crew member and catch her instead, as she is nearly knocked prone. As far as that blow goes, Ray, what do you think? Would she go straight for decking her in the jaw, or go for the stomach, something like that? What would send her knock? What would she do to send Kelshaw staggering?
I'm going straight for the sternum, just as hard as she can towards the heart, because clearly this bitch has none, and she is heaving her breath, just, how can you not care? I know what your bones taste like, and I care. How do you talk like him? How can you be so callous?
It takes her a moment to regain her footing. She looks. You're mad? Good. Do something with it. Standing around trying to fix something that you have no business to be in is doing us no favors.
At least I've tried to do something. I haven't seen you running around the ship. She growls.
I've been keeping the ship from being destroyed after our engineer vanished.
She sits down the isolinear chips that she was holding very gently and walks past, shouldering the other person as she goes. I'm going to discuss some things with Krukvilla. Stay out of my way. And if I hear the captain's name come out of your mouth at any point, I'll rip your f***ing jaw.
Now, really, would the captain want you to do that?
Shut
Really?
your face! You're not safe either. And with that, she walks out.
Captain. He did something. Don't know what it was. But I won't forgive him. Anyways, let's take a look at this isolinear mess and try and fix it.
Yep. How can I help?
Hold these for me.
Yep.
I start organizing the isolinear rods in
yeah, it's like flop. You know,
by
like
color.
we had to No, not by color, by number. You know, like how when you had to like do the old programs and you had to insert one floppy disk at a time, and if you inserted it in the wrong order, you had to start all over again.
Yep.
Yeah,
We
that's
don't,
what we're doing.
we don't want a blue screen of death.
Yeah. Well, let's see. Well, I would say the conversation that you want to have with Croker, or the information you want to pass along, that doesn't have to be a scene if you don't want it to be. Although if you're looking to put out a plan of some sort, then I would be perfectly happy to play Croker. Or hell, if somebody else wants to take a crack at it.
Oh, I would actually love to see someone else take a crack at it, but I need to message you first.
Copy that.
Jover.
I will say anyone that does want to play, anyone that decides they do ultimately want...
I'm just saying it would be hilarious for Sean to play him.
It would be deliciously ironic, especially since at this point Croker will be just distraught. Something approximating a... My love, he is now in Stovall Core. But yes. So, what I'm hearing though is we might have that as a next scene here. So we'll let's see. Let me momentarily let's put it on the warp screen for a moment. That's actually not a good idea because the yawn isn't actually at warp right now.
Oh look, and Woe is floating outside the ship.
Oh no.
Mega Woe.
Why would
That's
she,
why the shields are up, right?
Why would she do that?
Finally, we won.
Let's see. Here, I'll use...
Kresic also has a thing he needs to do between him and Traven that I think I messaged you about.
Okay, that could be done here. Let me just get things moved around. Better yet, whilst we may be taking a moment here just while Ray relays that message along. So how about we actually run that scene with Kresic and Traven. I'm going back to refresh myself here. Gotcha. Would you want them to come to sickbay, or would you prefer to meet him elsewhere on the ship?
Good question. I think Kresic would want to meet them at the site of the first potential disappearance, the cargo bay.
Okay. Well, this'll...
Which is unusual for the Doctor to leave sickbay, but here he is.
Yes. So, at some point, Kresic, when you feel relative comfort, would this, as part of the query, would you be asking them individually as opposed to the general ship-wide signal that everybody is used to?
He would. So his hand's very big. His hands only hit ship-wide comm. So he would send them text messages. He would send it to their scanners or whatever.
Gotcha.
To meet him.
Gotcha. So
because he has Gorn-sized keyboard.
Yes. So Traven and Zionol can show up together. Would anybody like Zionol? I can run him if nobody else does.
Like carnally, or
I'm not deigning that with a response.
Oh my god.
I am Lizard Boy can get it.
No, absolutely not.
Oh come on, you're no fun.
I'm just going to bring Zionol into this situation.
The resignation of your voice.
Right.
So sad.
So, Traven, you step into the cargo bay. Zional, as if out of nowhere, manifests. Well, I'd say the doctor is about to make a house call, but which is unusual enough. But I don't think anybody lives here either. Or if they did, they'd be quite a depressing soul.
I hate to be that guy and say it, but this really better be important. I was working on a world-class meal in there for Woe.
Well, at the rate that our crew seems to be dying, I think that if the doctor has some reason to call us here, then maybe he can guarantee that somebody will be will be around to taste that meal. Besides
Whoa,
me, of course.
wait, back up. What do you mean people are dying? What?
Oh, just call it an old. He ponders for a moment to think of a job description. Call it a hunch. But an engineer, our chief engineer, goes missing whilst we're in the middle of deep space. And then, as you heard mere moments ago over the intercom, the captain's apparently dead. Let's just... I have reason to doubt that there's I don't know, something more than coincidence. Unless, of course, this was just Azek making a play at command, which... I didn't think he was quite ready for yet, personally. Yeah. The two of you stride up.
Good. You're here.
Craven's walk has changed. I will put that out.
His walk? It's like a little skip now? Is he so excited?
No, it's very stern.
He's gonna be the guy. Again. Good luck.
Well, Doctor.
Good.
What can we do for you?
You can help me with analyzing my findings, as he passes out 2 data pads with neural scans on them. These were taken from a member of our crew shortly before the deployment of Captain Tabak to space. As you can see, the level of neural activity is enough to paralyze any normal humanoid. But I need more than facts. I need to understand what this means. And so I thought it best to speak with the immortal worm and someone with a history of understanding mental capabilities.
Doctor, I will go on ahead and ask. These are woe scans, aren't they? She is the only one on this ship that is any different than when we got here. Correct?
I am not at liberty to discuss my patient's state.
Well, I can. One can only guess at who exactly this particular patient would be. Zional will say. He's adding the Garrick sort of jazz hand flair with the with pretending to dance around the topic, humoring you, Doctor. But I will say that I would quite agree. Anyone with this level of neuroelectric shock would, they wouldn't be standing, not without assistance, and even if they could somehow keep themselves upright, I don't see what else they would be doing.
Do these electrical charges only lie in the brain? Do they affect the nervous system as well?
Oh, you can bet that, Doctor. That much I do understand about this. Zion interjects. Imagine you are feeling, well, I suppose I'd tell you to imagine what it's like to undergo a severe electric shock and then multiply that, but I don't know. Have you ever experienced anything quite like that, Raven?
Ex-girlfriend, maybe?
Um,
That
you
is
could say that.
that is canon. That is canon Zional right there. I appreciate that, Caligo.
Yes. Yes, that absolutely is.
I've been electrocuted before. That is a story we could go over later. However, I do remember when I was beginning as a scientist, we would dissect creatures. And we would send electrical shocks through their nervous system to make their limbs move.
To act on their own.
Correct.
Then you establish small microbrains at important parts. Ensure a secure flow of baseline electrical activity, and severed limbs can maneuver themselves. Yes, this is standard process.
Is this current continuous or does it spark up? That's the big question.
It's sparked from nothing shortly before our captain was jettisoned.
And our scanners are disabled, right?
It nearly destroyed my scanning system with the intensity.
The device in an anonymous patient. So, what do we do with this?
I have given you the information. I am looking for theories. I am looking for suggestions. I am looking for ideas.
Well, before I get into the more scientific part of it, Doctor, I will say this patient needs to be restrained. If they're walking around, they could be dangerous. Especially with these readings, not only to themselves, but to others. If anybody gets, there could be like a discharge. Somebody could be affected by the electrical charge, or they could accidentally swing and hit somebody because the charge is wrong. I don't know the full capacity of this. I'll keep studying it, but that patient needs to be either watched or detained. This is dangerous.
I mean, I think it, well, as I normally would understand this sort of thing, the said patient, they should only, they shouldn't be able to do much of anything at all with this type of shock, but if you're concerned that they are somehow a danger to themselves and others, then I tend to agree with the doctor. Honestly, maybe it's best that they be sedated and they don't wake up.
I concur.
I mean, how easy would it be just to conduct a routine checkup and then realize a dose was misadministered in the middle of the night?
Not kill, just put to sleep.
No, I do think that's the general idea I'm getting at.
But there is another problem that we must consider. There's an electrical charge going through the nervous system. We need enough medicine to keep them asleep against that. Because, I mean, I don't know if you've been shocked before, but it'll wake anybody up.
Yeah. I guess I do have one other thought here, Doctor. That sort of charge doesn't come from nowhere. It does occur to me we may want to keep this anonymous patient up and about in case, well, let's just not discount the possibility that somebody is administering the charge, and that somebody, if they are here, whomever they are applying that shock to, there's a good chance that they are threatening the rest of us. I know only one who has died for certain, but tell me, Doctor, do you think that, well, a Gorn like that, a fellow Gorn wouldn't go missing like that, wouldn't you think?
He is soft, but not that soft. There would have been a fight, which is also why I brought you here. I hope that there may be something here that in our panic at the loss of our first crew member, we missed, or those observing this location missed, whether of their own will or not.
This is where the engineer disappeared?
Yes.
Would I have a scanner?
You should have a scanner on you.
Okay. I'll start scanning this top part of the room. If we want to separate, I guess look for clues, Doctor?
Looking for anything which may help us to elucidate a theory. Kresic is going to, while this is after this happens, he is going to send a message to Woe that just says, for your safety, I would recommend returning to your quarters immediately and sealing the door.
Whoa, do you want to answer back on that right away? And particularly with an audio call?
Sure. The Skype call comes blaring over Cressic's wrist phone, whatever he's got.
It's actually a question. Were you wanting to go ship-wide on this particular thing, or did you just want to go directly to Kresic?
Oh. Yeah, let's go shipwide.
All right. Kresic, after a few moments after you hit send on that, there is a general... there's a ship-wide intercom system that goes off.
I walk over to the button. Yes?
Everybody, none of you are safe. We've determined this. The fact that you are all so fucking calm and casual does not escape my notice, but the fact of the matter is none of you are safe. I believe that there is an entity on board, and I do believe it is connected to me. Whether or not it's a real figment or creature, it remains to be seen. But I do believe someone is transporting within the ship. I would like your help to catch it.
As you guys are doing this, Traven, give me a reason and science roll. Difficulty on this will be 2.
If you need momentum, let me know.
GM, if you want to pull up my character sheet, do any of my focuses apply? I didn't want to just list them all off. There's a lot.
Fair enough. Let me take a look here. I don't think it'll quite work out here. Do you need me to roll for you here too?
Second question. Do you know of a focus that could apply
Oh,
from my past selves?
I'm not entirely certain. Like, if anyone had a forensic background of some sort, or otherwise had maybe something Romaldo might have had, could also apply to certain like inexplicable interstellar phenomena or like anomalous ship readings. I don't know. Was anybody did anybody else have a paranormal phenomena sort of habit as well?
The only two would be Yeldum because she's a scientist, and Romaldo because he's an explorer.
I'll allow a roll with a focus here.
Okay.
The
The only reason I'm getting it is I'm using the joint ability, so I
Yep.
just have it for the scene.
Yep. Okay, that didn't. Well, with a single success, I could. I'll see if somebody rolling for. Oh wait, you did have your sheet there. Okay. Sorry, I misinterpreted. Yeah, okay, that's 3 successes then, properly. So you gain back a point of momentum. You may draw your leisure, Kressik. Near as you can tell on this, Traven, there does appear to be signs of some sort of unique energy signature, which you may have been out of the loop during the... I'm actually trying to remember if Traven had come out to be of help during the during Raldar's initial disappearance.
No, he didn't do anything
Okay,
last session.
gotcha.
I was cooking.
He was cooking
Yeah.
cooking up a storm.
You notice that one of the deck panels has signs of unusual energy signatures. Something distinctive, but that you cannot quite put your finger on, or that the scanner is having difficulty identifying. While you yourself are more scientifically inclined, Traven, the Klingon equipment that you have is not quite so broad spectrum as to give you a sense of it, or to help you distinguish it, and it doesn't seem outwardly familiar.
Excuse me, Doctor.
For his part, Zionel's actually looking over. Ah, yes, we did see that earlier.
Yes, it was a plot hook that was conveniently forgotten last session, so. Anyways, you called the doctor over?
Yes.
He lumbers on over. Yes? Did you find something?
Yes. This is not normal.
And?
You wanted me to find something not normal. This is it. This deck plating has been messed with in some shape or fashion.
As I look at the readings, is there anything I'm able to determine from it?
The charge is very distinctive. I actually checking back over. To have created the scoring on this panel, it would have taken an exceptional shock of some sort, which it could be a residual trace of any number of things, some sort of energy disruption, some sort of like considerable reaction. Um, it's any number of phenomena that could be responsible for this, but this a shock of that gauge could also explain, if it were in close enough proximity to a certain patient, what could have potentially happened to them.
I think that's what I would like to do. Is I would like to have the computer like come up with a best fit model of what electrical impulse would have caused this damage, and then see how it compares to the spike in neural readings that I received from the patient.
Okay, you can
And
upload
compare
that.
those two.
You can upload that to your medical computer, transmit it there, and hope
Yep.
that it will work on that. It is not going to give you a speedy result, however.
Nope.
In the meantime, everyone else, and really you yourselves, well, let me ask, while the people in the cargo bay are working, has anybody else responded to Woe? Azek, if you... are you interested in going to hear her plan?
Trying to get the computer. I'm more focused on the computer.
Okay. Yeah, Woe, nobody has acknowledged your signal up in the transporter room.
Disgusting. She shakes her head while standing in the transporter room next to Croker. Oh, this crew is disgusting. They don't care about their own lives.
I cannot speak for them, but I cannot understand it myself. If something means to slay us like some sort I am so sorry. I know my love has found its way to Stovelcore, but I have been parted with them too soon. And by something that I do not understand, that we cannot find, that hides like some sort of cowardly toba.
She grasps both sides of his face. You are my one beacon of hope in this crew. Oh, shit. Sorry, my alarm went off. She goes back to grasping his face after turning her phone alarm off. You are my one beacon of hope in this crew. I want you to help me. Do you think you can do that?
Yes. I've been looking over the energy frequencies you were explaining here, and I think I could program the transporter's targeting sensors to lock on to something like that. If I can find that at the right moment, if you're able to spot it, then we might have a chance here. We could actually do something about this, but well, bringing this thing out somewhere and luring it into position. I don't suppose that you have a plan for that.
We'll have to do it some big open space where most of the crew can be. Unfortunately, we have to kind of shepherd them into that area because they have no self-preservation instincts. I can talk to the doc.
Is this still on comms?
No, we are not on comms.
Okay.
Oh, wouldn't it... I don't mean to dispute the plan, but would it not make sense for us to simply have them gather people here and have them ready so this whatever cowardly entity this is, it seems to strike when no one else is around its targets. Therefore, if we can keep it lured in if we can lure it in someplace isolated, and then that crew member is able to get off a report, or even if I see it for a moment, I could lock on. We could bring the coward up here, and we could simply use our disruptors to completely vaporize it.
She nods. I think that's an excellent plan. The only difference I was thinking was to have it in the cargo bay. It's so full of boxes, there's so many places to hide, and this thing is outward. It only seems to strike whenever I'm alone with someone. That's why I was thinking you could help me with that.
Yes, yes.
Once we get the car. Sorry, go ahead.
No. You're completely right. I agree. Yeah, but perhaps the way to go, as you say, this coward would strike only from a safe hiding spot. Perhaps if we can get a member of the crew with you in the cargo bay, then perhaps from there they will lash out, and then the rest of us, when they do so, you can alert us, or I can keep the sensors focused on the cargo bay, and beam whatever I see from there. That was just my understanding.
No, you've got it down pat. She closes her eyes. It doesn't seem to attack when I'm angry. It seems to attack when I'm the most happy. At least that's what I think. Then she hesitates, swallows, tries to think. I'm not going to risk the doctor. She thinks internally, but it actually comes out directly out of her mouth. She pauses and looks back at Crooker. Summon Traven. Tell him to meet me in the cargo bay.
Croker will go over to his spot at the console, press the intercom. In this case, setting it to specifically to individual comps, because Croker is a man of refinement who is very dexterous with the controls. He knows how to handle it.
He has slender fingers.
Yes.
Now shut your faces.
Traven, this is Croker. Do you read me?
He's gonna do a communicator. This is Traven. Go ahead.
I've been coordinating with Woe on a possible plan to stop the cowardly intruder that has slain our glorious captain. But she may need your help with this. I need you to meet her in the cargo bay. If you see anyone else, have them join us in the transporter room. I will help avenge my fallen. I will avenge him. He was.
It just so happens I'm already in the cargo bay.
Very good. Then let anyone else you have around you know to meet us in the transporter room. Bring in disruptors, and just to be safe, bring one of your own.
Understood.
Croker looks very pleased with himself as he cuts out the communications. I will send individual requests to the other members of the crew. We will spring this glorious trap, and we will have our revenge.
Finally, it'll be over. She smiles at Croker, too many teeth showing.
Well, he's gonna bare back his teeth in a display of eager bloodlust over the prospect of this.
Kresik to Woe.
Woe here. Come in.
I do not know what you have planned. We do not know enough to ensure it will work.
This is going to be one of those cases where I think you should go to your quarters and shut the door.
This is a mistake. You are rushing blindly into something you do not fully understand.
I may not understand what's going on, but I don't think we can move possibly fast enough to keep things at bay. As far as we know, we've already lost 2 crew members in a very short period of time. What are you doing that could possibly delay that?
I will be in my facilities trying to find a solution.
Good. Lock the door to your facilities. Well out. And with that, she hangs up.
Zynal,
Yes?
you stay with me. I don't want anybody going to the transporter bay. I want them here.
Oh, but of course. Where would you like me? In the rafters, under the floorboards, inside the pattern buffer?
The easiest escape route for it.
What would be the easiest escape route?
I mean, if this is like some, an airlock, or perhaps one of the 2 doors in the car to the cargo bay.
Okay. I would like to, do a little hidey hole. And make sure that that I'm in the room, but invisible.
Gotcha.
With a good vantage point for, daggers.
Yep. So would the strategy be cloak yourself and lean into your empathic sense to try and find the thing when it should show?
Yes.
Okay. So for the stealth check here, I will ask, give me, let's call this presence plus security, as you are quite to the contrary of making yourself an intimidating presence. You are rather trying to minimize it as much as possible. You are attempting to exert, like you're trying to keep yourself in as optimal a position to ready yourself for a possible attack as possible. Yeah, sorry, redundancy.
All right. Would my assassination focus come into application here?
I think it would work, yes.
Lovely. Presence and security?
Yes. Go ahead. I'm going to...
What's the difficulty?
I'm going to say that you can succeed. You can gain up to 3 points of success, and for anyone that tries to look for you physically, you can set the difficulty for their roll based on that. Effectively, it would be an opposed roll from you, where you set the difficulty
Gotcha.
for it now. But yes, maximum will be 3, which you hit. So Zional, you...
Lovely.
Yep. Between some crates and some strategic placement of the rafters, you manage to situate yourself to where you have a good grasp of the knives. You are somewhat out of the light, and you are, otherwise well poised for a possible ambush with a good vantage point of either door.
What Zional? There's no Zional here.
Yes. Kresic, meanwhile, heads towards the door. Any parting thoughts as you leave?
He is trying to formulate what this could all be. He's going to... He's upset because people are moving too fast, because things are moving too fast. and nobody is being reasonable. But it's not his job to get in the way. It's his job to solve this thing.
All right. Well, as you set yourself up here, let's see. I'm pondering how we will play things out exactly, because unfortunately we are running up close to time, and with the technical glitch that we had earlier in this session, which I've hopefully edited out for all of you watching the archive. We are running up to a hard cap on time, and I'm not sure how much more set up I can do for this. So let's see. Would anyone want a parting moment for this, or like, I don't know. Does anybody feel
Actually,
like Go ahead.
You know what? Would it be possible for me to spend 2 momentum to create an advantage?
Which is?
It reminds me of a story. As he's running through the old stories bedtime stories that he used to tell his daughter. GM?
Are you still there?
I'm here. Did you hear me?
I heard stories that you used to tell your daughter.
Okay. The advantage would be it reminds me of a story. So some old bedtime story that he would tell his daughter, which is how he picked up his interest in the paranormal, because, you know, kids love those kind of spooky stuff. Like nothing concrete, but something about this seems slightly familiar.
You know, I think we can use that note as a means of capping it off, because as Kresic leaves, undoubtedly there is a familiar tinge to this, of frightful stories that that you would tell to your daughter back in the day. Stories that did not end well for those caught among them. That let's see, sorry, I see other messages coming in. Yeah, I think on that note, as Azek, oh, that's not it. I'm sorry. Now I'm badly off kilter. I think on that note, as Kresic leaves the cargo bay, we will cut off the session there for now, and we'll come back to it. We will come back to it next week, hopefully with a fully functional stream, and thus able to affect what we need to do. But yeah, we will, until then, thank you all for joining in, folks. This is where we will stop the archive, so we will catch you later.